Hi guys, American Granny here. I just wanted you to see, I had this gorgeous harvest of white sage. I love the way it smells, but I'm prepping my leaves right now so that I can dry them. And I dropped a few, sorry. So I thought, well, I'm working on this, and I don't have a whole lot else going on. My hubby's sleeping good still before he's got to go to work tonight, and Jack's staying close to home like he's supposed to. So I don't have a lot of jumping and running to get up and do. And I thought I'd, share with you what I'm doing, and hope you guys like it. I love my indoor garden, and my next thing that I want to grow, as far as my herbs go, is going to be my sweet basil. Using sweet basil that's fresh, there's nothing like it. And right now I'm surprised my cat is not over here. Now, she prefers the smell of the sweet basil, but she likes the sage as well. And I jar these up, and they keep, well, let's see, the jars I'm working on when I cook, those jars are a little over a year old, and they don't smell as strong as this, but pretty close. And I don't know if you can see my little pile there. Yeah, there you go. Try and move some of my icky stuff out of the way. But, it's a very nice thing to do. I crochet as well, so I just like my hands busy. I don't know about y'all, but I do like my hands to stay busy, or my brain gets bored. I don't know if it's a human condition or what it is, but I enjoy it. And I got all my emails sent out today that I had to send out, and I got to talk to my daughter for about an hour on Facebook Messenger. I love their video call. I try to use that Google one I've got, Google Meet, but I can never get it to work. So I don't use it, but I do love to use the Facebook. And my daughter finally got her goats. Now, she has a very small homestead. It's about an acre in Texas, and she homeschools her kids. She has her garden. She says she severely neglected it this year because she was so busy trying to build the pen for her new goats. And she finally got them, and they are just adorable little things bouncing around. I told her, I said, you should look on Facebook Marketplace and see if you can't find them a real cheap or maybe even free little plastic kids play set. I said, your goats will love it. That's what my neighbor did down the road. He's got a wonderful setup for his little goats. And she said, that was a real good idea. And then I saw that she had actually gone and done that. She showed me that on the videos while she was showing us the pen, showing us all the things her projects and how much she's getting them done. And I wasn't too worried about her letting her garden go this year, because she has plenty stored from years before, and all the gardening that she's been doing over, she's been working her garden probably close to 10 years. So she's been at it for a while. And her place is really, her homestead is just turning out so beautiful. And, It's a sad thing in America when your children can buy their first home before you can become eligible. But about the time that we got eligible and were able to buy our first home, it was a few years back. Both my husband's mother and brother and my sister, my mother, and my father all passed away, not at the same time, but with, like one right after the other, a few months apart maybe. When my mother passed, I lost my aunt a few days later, and my uncle died, of all things, on April Fool's Day. So when I got the notification, because last I heard he was recovering from his surgery pretty well. He was an older gentleman, and he was an old man, but he was recovering pretty well from his surgery. And then I got a message on April Fool's, which was almost to the day that it had been a month since my mother had passed away. So it was a very rough time. Oh, goodness. This is so good for the soul. You smell it, you feel it, and even if you're feeling bad or not feeling so great, like today, I woke up real early, laid in bed for a long time, trying to stay in bed as long as I could, and I still got up at 5 o'clock. So, and then of course my bank was freaking out when I tried to check my balance. It wouldn't let me check in, log in, and it really freaked me out, because that's all my husband and I have, and we don't have a lot in there as it is. And so when I got, put my password in, it came up invalid, and did it for the third time, I was like, oh my God, something is really wrong. So I went to look to see if there was any news about my bank having it, my bank having any issues with maybe the internet or that kind of thing, because of I know a lot of issues because of the solar storms. So I was just wondering if that had caused it. And while I was trying to find that out, I came across some information saying that if you're having a problem logging in to your bank, and it did not say what kind of bank, it just said to your bank account, try going to your app and clearing the cache, because it may not have much in it, but if it's been a long time, those cookies are just sitting there, and go clean your cache. So I went and did that, and of course I was able to instantly get into my account, and everything was fine, thank goodness. I wish I wasn't starting this so old. I wish I was much younger, and I'm afraid to say, but my mother got the last of my good years, I think, trying to take care of her. And I mean, when I say that, that may come out wrong. What I mean is that it took the last of my physical strength that I had to take care of her, to get her back and forth to her appointments for her dialysis, and pushing her up and down the ramp in her wheelchair. And the ramp that my husband built was kind of steep, and so it was a very, every muscle in use, and doing that while you're mentally so overstressed is unbelievable. And at that time, my mortgage company was going crazy in Texas, and my family was going crazy, and my husband and I couldn't be together. We had to deal with the loss of our parents pretty much on our own. Of course, we were there for each other. When my mother went into the coma and they gave her maybe 2 to 3 days, my husband was going to come right then, and I said, no, just in case Mom does live longer than they're projecting, just wait, and when she passes, I'll let you know, and you can come then. And so we did it that way. And with his mother, I was in Texas. My sister was washing my house for me. Well, it was our house. But, yeah. Anyway, we got through that. And, it's very hard to go through stuff like that. And when you get older, you're not thinking about how quick time goes by. I mean, when I think about things now, and I realize my youngest grandchild is 6, and my oldest grandchild is 21, 22 years old now. It's like, where did that time go? My children are all grown-ups, and I mean, my oldest is 41. My youngest is in his mid-30s, 36, 37 years old. I have trouble with that kind of thing. But when you look at us, you're like, what was I doing this whole time? And then you think about everything, and you're going, oh, wow, that's what I was doing. So, but before you know it, it's gone. So I would suggest that if you have a family that you love, now I don't know how a lot of people are about their families, but my family meant everything to me. They were my world. Literally, they were my world. And I felt like my world was coming apart at the seams. To lose everybody so quickly. I mean, within 1 year, we lost 8 people in my family, and it was a difficult time. So, when my mind finally broke, sadly, it broke on the one person that I trusted more than anybody, and you know how that is. When your mind finally gives under the pressure of everything, and you snap. My sister, she uses her mental illness, and well, I'm bipolar. They diagnosed me bipolar manic, and the medicines that they kept putting me on and adding to or changing up was making it worse, not better. So my husband helped me get away from that completely. But that also meant that I still had to deal with my mood swings. And I wasn't okay. But to everybody else, I looked just fine, And I wasn't okay. I was very broken. And nobody really seemed to care that much. Because they were so wrapped up in their own lives, and my children definitely couldn't understand, although there's going to come a time in their lives where they're going to go through a lot of loss from older family members, because all of my family members were old. They were not young. The youngest person that I lost was my sister Patricia, my little sister. One of my little sisters. I have two. And losing her was crush for me. She'd always been my ally no matter what. And she had her demons, like we all do. And her demons were cruel to her. Nowhere, mine never got as bad as hers. But then again, I think my rage over what I couldn't change, when I finally did, lose it, I think that did more damage to everybody around me. So yes, we all have our own demons, but I think that it's a very good idea to tame them if you can. You can never get rid of your demons. And anybody who says, I got rid of my demons, no, you didn't. You managed or learned how to suppress your demon. That doesn't mean your demons are gone. And demons are nothing more than our emotions over things that we felt were wrong, or things that we did that were wrong. So that's what our demons are. And I never needed a psychiatrist to tell me that. And they would tell me, well, your mood swings, we can control this now, and we're going to put you on lithium and Ativan and I don't know, several others. And they just made it worse. They made it harder for me to control my demons. So, but when you get enough pain built in and enough pain piled on, they come out, and there is nothing that you can do. Some one thing is going to trigger it, and then you can't stop the waterfall. It's like a flash flood. I guess is the best way I could put it. And yes, I talk about my other little sister Diana a lot, because I miss her a lot. It was the first time I'd ever gotten to be able to be close to her in our entire lives. Since we were little children, we were split apart and raised by different family members. But I still remember playing with her when I was little, and my sister Patty. I remember sitting on the front porch of this old rickety house that we were living in, and we didn't have any toys. So you played with the dirt, or you played with whatever you could find. And my brother had gone and found this shovel, but the handle was broke off. And, he said, Angel, sit down and I'll turn you. And we sat there taking turns, even with Diana, spinning her around and laughing and giggling and just having a wonderful, wonderful time. And seeing those bright eyes looking up at me, and her hair was white, beautiful blonde hair, naturally, because she was maybe 2 at that point, maybe close to 3. We were living in, I think, New Mexico, and my brother Johnny later that day found a frog, and my parents were outside, and Johnny, we were all sitting out on the porch and we're playing in the dirt. You could use anything. When you're a kid, anything works as a toy. Anything. My brother had this piece of metal that came off of an old pickup truck that was out in the field near our house. He found it in there, and it just was a bent, kind of flat, and he'd slide it around, vroom, 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 pretending it was a car. And we're all sitting out there, and Dad and Mom are laughing at us because we're playing still with the shovel and spinning each other and laughing and playing tag and that kind of thing. And my brother Johnny caught a frog and brought it up to the porch to show my mom and Dad, And they're all, look at this, come here, Ange, come here, Dee Dee. Patty, come here. And my brother put the frog down on the porch for us to see. And I don't remember if it was Patty or Diana. But I think it was Diana. When he put the frog down, they went and stomped on it screaming bug and killed the frog. Just splat with a foot. It was a dead frog. And everybody was stunned. Just stunned. I think it actually was Patty that did it. She was more afraid of bugs than Diana was. Diana had a tendency to go play in the fire ant hill. And my mother would tell my brother, go get your sister out of that ant hill. Because, they'll sting you like big welts, and it's more like being stung by a bee than it is being bit by an ant. And so my mother would tell her, tell my brother and me to go get her. And Johnny, them things, it's like they smelled him coming. Because as soon as he got anywhere close to that mound, to Dee Dee, those ants would start attacking him. And Diana would be sitting there right on top of the mound, and my brother's like, quit eating the ants. And she was eating the fire ants, but they were not attacking her. Never saw anything like that in my life since then. I mean, I'm 60 years old, and I only saw that one time in my entire life where insects that normally, they'll swarm and attack, did not do that to a person who was right smack dab in their house, if you want to put it that way. And, she was sitting there in her diaper and eating some of the ants and playing with the others, and they weren't biting her, but they would go after my brother Johnny or me when we tried to get Diane off that hill. So, I miss her. I didn't get to grow up with her. And finally getting that opportunity, I feel like my demon got in the way. And it hurt my sister. And so after she left, I told my brother I wasn't ready for her to come back home, because I had to heal. I had to make sure that I never could do that to her again, if that makes any sense. And I will forever, even if she were to forgive me, I will forever carry that regret, because she was very special to me. And I don't really care what the argument was about anymore. It's the fact that I hurt her so bad that she couldn't even forgive me. I mean, I could forgive her for her tantrums and the mean things she would say, but with Diana, it doesn't work that way. And I wish it did. But you can't change it, so... And she's still holding on to the grudge, I guess. I don't know. I have no communication with her. And for a while, she cut off everybody. And I mean everybody in the family. She wasn't talking to anybody. She might have talked to her kids once in a while, but she pretty much, I think, she wanted to do some healing of her own. And I hope she did. And I hope she found happiness. And Diana, no, I have not changed my will. So you cannot die before me, girl. Or Bobby, however you want to put it. And I gotta tell you something. I did a bad thing. I wanted my sister to know that my mother loved her as much as she loved me and Patty and my brother Johnny and my brother David. But the bad thing that I did was I lied to her. I told her that Mom had made me promise to always take care of her and make sure she always had a home. And I didn't make that promise to my mother. She never asked me to do that. It was a promise I made to myself because I knew how hard my sister had struggled, and I just wanted to make her life better. And it took 3 years of her occasionally going through little mega fits, and I never lost my cool. I never really lost it with her. But then, of course, something happens. And it hit me at a bad time, at a weak time. And my demons have always been my guardians. They protected me. They kept me alive through so much shit in my life. And I clung to them, literally. They were the only place I ever felt safe, was within my own demons. And I have to tell you, it just caused more harm than it ever did me any good. Yeah, it protected me. But when it would get unleashed or loose without me wanting it to, without the need for it to protect me, an emotional pain is not an excuse or a justification. And I was beyond. Anyway, that rage fit and losing my sister did trigger my heart attack. And I'm glad I had it in some ways, because I got the much needed health care I needed. But I didn't stick with it because I couldn't afford it. And I don't have insurance. And, life is hard without those things. And so, my sister left and never looked back. And that's, I think, the part that hurts the most. Because I really believed that she loved me as much as I loved her. And when you love someone, you do look back. Even if you're leaving, you look back. And she doesn't. So, and she, I hope, is happy. But now I have no sisters in my life. My half-sister passed away, about 6 months, maybe 8 months after, about 5 or 6 months after my sister Diana left. And when I'm hot-headed, when I'm in that mode, I can't justify anything that comes out of my mouth, because I say things that I absolutely don't mean, and I say them out of a rage, out of anger. And I don't do it as often as I used to, but, sometimes once is too often. So, okay, my camera's gonna be getting on to me here in a minute. So, yeah. I wish you guys could smell this. So beautiful. I've only got a little bit more to cut up and get ready for drying. Put them on trays and I let them dry. I'll cut them up and, process them, as I call it. And then get them into nice jars. And so that's it for today. Sorry, I'm just kind of rambling, but I just wanted somebody to talk to, and you were there. So, American Granny loves you always.